This week, we are amping up for Wreck-It Ralph. We share our picks for best fictional video games from pop culture, and we take a break from fake gaming to drink a fake rainbow for science. All this and more on this episode of We Come From the Future. This episode of We Come From the Future is sponsored by Gamefly. Welcome to We Come From the Future, the show where we are Pac-Man, the past is all the ghosts, and the future is playing a first-person shooter whose goal is to figure out why we're still wearing beige. I'm Annalee Newitz.
And I'm Esther and Annalee. We're gearing up for Wreck-It Ralph, the movie that's going to be kind of the Who Framed Roger Rabbit for video game nerds. They're going to spend probably the entire movie spotting all the classic game characters that are going to come from basically every game ever made. But we're going to spend it kind of looking for the fictional games that never were and that we're kind of wistful for. Now, my personal game I'd like to play is The Game from that Star Trek episode, cleverly titled The Game, where you wear like a headset and you try to like stuff stuff in a hole, and when you do, you get like a, oh, I feel so great.
Yeah. You get an orgasm, basically.
Okay.
And then,
I was too much of a lady to say it.
a mind-controlled, droid. So that's good too.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great game to have without the mind control. And of course, Wesley was able to resist it.
As long as Wesley's around, we'll be okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to say, my favorite fictional video game is the one in Last Starfighter, which is the classic, 80s film where the lonely kid is playing this video game. He's super good at it, and he finds out that actually this was a training game to fight in an alien war, and so he's joining the alien insurgency by part of the way through the movie, and gets to be a hero.
It's kind of like Ender's Game a little bit.
It is, although with none of the moral ambiguity of Ender's Game, right? It's just like, well, of course it's great to kill. We love that.
There's kind of another movie that really embraces that, and that's Gamer, where people are in a fictional world where you can take over another person's body and literally play them like a video game character and make them kill each other or eat yucky stuff like bugs or something.
Yeah, or have sex or whatever. It's basically like an MMO where you control their bodies. It's such a great movie. It's so up and dark.
I like it best because there's a dance number with Dexter in it.
Yes, Dexter is the guy who's invented the technology, and he can control all these people's minds, and he makes them do like an evil dance routine. Yeah, I think that's
evil dance routine
in the middle of this incredibly movie. And it was made by the guys who did Crank, which is another fine film. So go out and see it right now. There's also, speaking of dark, right? There's also the classic WarGames scene where we learn that, the computer thinks that war, like global war, is a video game. It even says, would you like to play global thermonuclear war? And we all have to learn the lesson that, of course, if you play the game of war, you never win. So you get a little moral message there.
That's really important.
I kind of feel like the 80s was the heyday of movies about fictional video games, I mean, there's Gamer, but
no one can compete with the ultimate fictional video game, which is Tron.
Exactly, which people don't remember was actually a fictional video game at the time because it became a real video game that was quite popular. But that was the original fictional video game movie, and we actually got to go inside the game. It was so exciting, and
at last,
please forget Tron 2. Seriously, I don't care what you think. That movie, okay? That movie is dead to me.
Jeff Bridges is so disappointed in you. If you're looking for something full of electrolytes to chug while you're gaming or watching a video game movie, stay tuned. We're going to show you how to make a rainbow in a glass. This week's Esther Gets Experimental is going to be a drinkable rainbow. Now, we're going to make a little rainbow in a glass, and that consists of mixing different quantities of sugar into the same amount of water. Now, this glass has about 9 tablespoons of sugar dissolved in 3 tablespoons of water, so it's basically moistened sugar. This is 6 tablespoons, so it's kind of syrup. This is 3, not so bad. And this is just water with a little food coloring in it. Now we are going to pour this one by one into the glass, and they should separate out along their density layers.
So I'm going to do the pouring, and Esther is going to aid me in my quest here by, you're going to hold the spoon. So I guess
Well,
we're going to
just pour in.
We're going to start by just pouring this in. Exciting sugar pour. Oh, crap. Oh well, it'll be fine. All right.
Just pour it all in. We
You
want
want the whole thing? All right.
Yeah. The trick is you have to pour it in with as little velocity as possible, so it doesn't automatically, penetrate into the layer below it. So
Okay,
we're
so
going to
let's
pour
try
it
with
over the
our
back of the
low
spoon.
velocity pour.
Yeah, low velocity. There's no velocity here. A little more. And boom.
Okay,
Lovely.
we've got our next layer. That looks delightful.
Ah.
All right,
That one's a little stuck to the
just a little bit of sugar
table.
there.
All right. And low velocity, barely even there. Oop.
Low velocity is like my middle name.
It's a beautiful middle name. Your parents were
I know
really thoughtful.
they were thinking ahead. They
And-
knew that this was going to be my life.
The final one.
Pouring. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Fuck yeah. Oh. This is the trouble layer.
Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit of separation there.
Oh, no, we
Do
did,
want to get a
actually.
close-up?
Yeah, no, there's definitely, you can definitely see the difference, although it's pretty subtle.
Now,
But here, I mean, there's like super obvious separation between these two layers. So
Now-
why do we see such a strong separation here?
I think mostly because this is just basically sludge, and these two layers, they're pretty close. Also, there was a little bit of splashing. Now, I don't want to criticize your pouring, but
Yeah, no, it's.
I certainly don't want to criticize myself in the way I set up the experiment. So,
So basically, it's the density of the fluid,
yeah,
or
this has a lot of fluid or a lot of sugar, so it's basically a syrup, or yeah, it's almost a solid, really. Little syrup.
and so each layer, yeah, is just sort of
This is-
floating atop the one before it.
Okay, so we got a flashlight, and you can see the two different layers right there.
On the top, yeah, the colors are similar, but it's clear that they're separate. So I think if you're going to do this trick at home, you probably want to separate the darker colors with lighter colors so
Yeah.
that the contrast is more obvious. And it's also a delicious drink, right, Esther?
Yes, it is, Annalee. Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. It is a delicious drink. Now, also, if you're doing this at home, you might want to squirt a little bit of lemon juice into each of these so you can literally make lemonade. But I didn't bring any lemons, so I'm just going to
You're just gonna-
channel my inner hummingbird and sip sugar water.
Oh,
So-
this is going to be delicious, right?
It will be delicious. That is good. That is
the
a
yellow
good
taste?
rainbow. I could really feel the yellow layer. So,
Kind of grainy.
yeah, still in my mouth. Okay. Well, we'll
Another successful experiment.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we'll leave you to contemplate what you would mix into this drink while you listen to a word from our sponsor.
Gamefly lets you tame your video gaming urges without breaking the bank. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, Gamefly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and Gamefly will send you the next available game on your list. Gamefly stocks over 8,000 new and classic titles across all game consoles and handhelds. AAA games like Mass Effect, XCOM, and Borderlands 2. And for you PC gamers, you can play hundreds of PC games for free with unlimited PC play. You'll be spoiled for choice. We Come From the Future fans get a 15-day free trial. Just visit gamefly.com/future and sign up. So help out We Come From the Future while saving a bundle on your video game hobby. Visit gamefly.com/future. So, what are your favorite video games? I mean, while we're having nostalgia for these 80s films, I'll just say that one of my favorite games remains this 1990s classic game Myst, which was kind of like the transition between 80s text adventure games and noughties games, which had full immersion in an MMO where you're doing an adventure, and it was incredibly beautiful with beautiful music and lots of puzzles to solve and books to read, and you basically were just exploring the ship on some kind of alien island, trying to figure out why everybody on the island had disappeared and where they'd gone, and there'd been this terrible murder and fights between brothers. It was such an amazing game. I even bought the soundtrack. I loved it so much.
That's not my speed at all. My favorite classic video game is Tetris. I had it on my graphing calculator in high school. And I had to cut myself off from playing it ever, because something about the just endlessly, mindlessly, like putting blocks in their proper order hacked into my brain, and I could do it for hours, just be like the game, like in Star Trek. So I've had to go cold turkey. But you never got
the final, like when you put the thing into the slot, you didn't get the ooh.
No, I didn't.
That's too bad. I got that playing Myst, so I'm just telling you, playing Myst, you get the orgasm.
I'll
Probably
give
the
it a
guys
try.
who wrote the game would be really sad if I said that. So let us know what your favorite classic games are. Email us at wecomefromthefuture@revision3.com or leave a comment below. Remember, you can subscribe to us on iTunes by searching for IO9 or subscribe to us right here on the Revision 3 website.
And you can subscribe to us on YouTube by clicking right here.
And we'll see you next week in the future.